Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Codentech. My name is Shibam Dhar and I will be the host for this session. And today with me, I have a special guest, Mr. Yashraj Nayak. He is the Community Growth Manager of APAC region at Outsystems. Before this, he was working as India Community Manager at Google. He has been into building and scaling communities for more than 5 years now. And I welcome you, sir, and thank you so much for joining today. So how are you today, sir?
Thank you, Shibam, for having me. It's pleasure to be here, and yeah, looking forward to our
Awesome.
conversation.
Awesome. So let's dive to our questions. Like my first question is like when the student joins any university, they see so many communities around them. So according to you, what is the perfect time to join a technical community for a student whenever they join the university? Or you prefer before to university? Anything.
When it comes to perfect time, there is no such perfect time per se, but it depends on what kind of opportunities one person has been exposed to. So, in my case, it was my school days, like high school days, where I got to know about some communities outside my campus, like the external communities, and then I started going there. And then when I joined a university, I got to know about programs like Microsoft Student Partners. I started our club within the university. So I think it's more about how much aware one person is. Apart from that, I think the best time is as early as possible. Um, I think first year in campus, first year in university should be the time when they are involved in as many community activities as possible, so that that can set a tone for the rest of their university journey. What a lot of students have seen doing is that they figure out, initially, and then they spend rest of the years, uh, you know, doing more of that particular effort, that particular community which they really connect with. So yeah.
Right. So next is like a follow up to this question. Like when you are talking about how they feel about the community, what are they per se, and what are the things which are important to them. So what are the characteristics a student must look into a technical community before joining? Because there are so many options right now. Right. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think the best thing to notice, or the first thing to notice, I would say, should be how how much conversations, how much contributions you are seeing from other members in the community. Is it only the company, or the moderators who are doing the most conversations, or it is balanced between the members and the company, or the organization itself? So if you see, it's primarily the organization itself, 90% or 80%, then what that means is that might not be very much open. uh, Members might not be feeling that much open to contribute a lot. That could be one. So that's one. How much member activity do you see? Other than that, it is how easy it is for someone to contribute, start contribution, right? So can you, by looking at the community, by reading about it, or by just exploring it, can you understand, you as a newbie, how can you make your first contribution? If that's visible to you, then that means it's a mature community. The stakeholders, or the community professionals have already done their work. They have made it visible uh, to the new to the newcomers, how they can start, how they can make their first contribution, how they can, the journey has been defined. So that are some characteristics, those are some characteristics for a new, for a good community to begin with. Yeah.
Like awesome. So here we are talking about organizations and the our mentors and professionals who have already built a channel in which the student can find themselves. But what if student wants to start his or her own community? Uh, then what are the principles a student must follow to begin with a small community, like starting from a 5 to 10 people even?
Yeah, I think uh, if someone is passionate, one should definitely start by volunteering in other communities, right? So there is not no such thing that let's start a community, right? It happens intrinsically, like it happens as a result of something you have seen, you have experienced, you were really influenced about. For example, most of the community professionals who are, professional community builders today, some way or other they started as a volunteer, right, including me. So I see a lot of people who did not actually think of this as a full-time role. They were just volunteering their time, making contributions, and then they realized that, yeah, how things work. So volunteering in some other active community which is larger, if they are planning to start their own community in their campus, so first they should start volunteering in an external community which is not in their, might not be in their campus, but can be any other community, just to learn, just to understand what are the best practices, or how it actually works, and then try to replicate what works in their campus when they actually start building their own community. So uh, yeah, so and then it is as you said, like 5 to 10 member, it is actually good. Like starting small is really nice. uh, Gathering 5 or 10 curated audience who are really passionate about that particular subject, which you are trying to build community around, and they coming together rather than you opening up to hundreds of people at once, right? So the starting small and then gradually making it big, um, that's a way to go. Yeah.
Basically, the first thing a student must do is to train himself and herself
Correct.
in order to
Getting
understand.
understanding real world, how it works, is really important. Like it's not about the technicalities, it's not about the terms, right? It's about the the things which you can't really learn um, by taking a course. Those are the
Right,
things which need to be felt, right?
right,
Having empathy, or be a good listener, right? And so that you can actually understand what others in the community actually want, and then how we can actually come up with the solutions. So like problem solving and all those things in a community building sense. So yeah, those things need to be experienced or felt, I would say, and that can only happen once we are like totally involved, immerse ourselves into something which we believe in, something which already exists. Because yeah, chances are you will definitely find something which which already exists, it is running already, and you can connect with it, be there, contribute as much as you can, learn as much as you can, and then whenever you're ready, try to take those learnings uh, to to at your own level. Yeah.
right. Awesome. So, during this whole phase, we are talking about so much learning and experiencing the thing. Nowadays, when I talk to a student who is not involving into a committees, the most of the time they say they are not able to manage the time.
Yeah.
So, how should a student must spend the time in order to manage the studies as well as community activities? So, what will be your suggestions and your tips to this?
Yeah, I think that's a very like broad question. But if I talk about someone who is little bit aware and little bit passionate about technology and connecting with others, um, there is always a saying, right? Those who uh, really want to do it, they will find
Right,
some way
right,
to do it, right? So
right,
that's one, that is one kind of people. But apart from that, I would say trying to make the most out of the time which they can truly spend for themselves or trying to learn something. So uh, I would say weekends, or week a lot of community activities happen on a weekday after working hours or after your university hours. So trying to find more of such, uh, I think that's the way to go. And apart from that, we often have uh, like a gap, right? Like, okay, because I have been a student, I know, like it's never like you don't have any time for like 2 months, 3 months in a row, right? You do have like 1 week or something, like a gap. So if you plan in that, uh, end of the day it becomes trying to make the most out of what you've got.
Right.
So you cannot invent time, right? If you don't have time, you don't have time, but you can try to make the most out of what you have. Yeah,
Right. Basically, the scheduling is the most important part, and the
correct.
dedication which will make you make it happen. Right.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
So a community is when a community is formed, the student joins them, and they see so many people around them working on different technologies and non-tech aspects area too. So, what do you think that how a community can be useful for a student to make him or her as a job ready in the future, like candidacy for a certain job?
so if you talk about a developer job, definitely learning new skills with the help of community, that's the number one thing. And companies do value that, like how much active you have been, apart from because a lot of other soft skills also come into play, being a good developer. So, and that is something which you can really enhance by being a part of community, working in a project, uh, being it taking the lead on something, and then project management and all those skills really come in handy. So that really matters. And then as I started learning new skills, so learning new technologies, because those communities often focus on something, okay, what's new, right? And where the industry is heading. So you get an opportunity to learn, keep yourself up to date, and then adding those things to your profile, having relevant projects created as part of your portfolio really helps. And all this collectively helps you uh, to tap into much more opportunities than you would have ever imagined. Yeah,
Right. So it can be like it can be converted into a source of opportunities too.
absolutely, like a treasure trove. Yeah. And you
Awesome.
never know, the best one of the best, there are many outcomes of a community, but one of the best outcomes of being part of some community is a network, right? The people you meet. So every event you might meet at least like 2 3 5 10 new people, and then all of that adds up. So yeah, so it having a good network, uh, you don't have to like make special efforts to do it. It happens, like if you are active, if you are just showing up, sometimes that matters, right? If you're there and you are trying to connect with others, you're open to connect with others, so that the others and then you're sharing your experiences. That's how people come to know that, yeah, tomorrow if something like a Python project comes, you are the person to talk to.
Right.
Something like that. So yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. So with this, we come to our last question. Like any advice from your side to all of the students who are watching this video, studying in the university and thinking to join communities or want to work, develop themselves? Any advice from your side?
Yeah, so I would say the best thing which we can do is to not stop trying, is to not stay idle for a long time. It's okay to take a break. Sometimes you don't have to like continuously hustle. That is not something which I support, right? But yeah, what I'm trying to say is trying to make the most out of what you have, right? Not to complain too much if things are not the way you wanted them to be, but you can't do much about them. So trying to accept what you have, and then making the best out of it. So I remember I've seen a lot of students like who have campuses in faraway places. They're
Right.
like so away from big cities where usually events happen, and they tried so hard to bring professionals to their campus so that they could host workshops. So yeah, trying to make the most out of what you have, instead of just sitting and decide, just um, saying that, yeah, I, I can't do because I'm from so and so situation. So that is something which I would say. Apart from that, it is also really important to have a switch from from horizontal to a little bit vertical. So what I'm trying to say, in the beginning you are exploring horizontally, you are trying to explore as many things as possible, and that is really important, so that you understand what things exist in the world, right? But there has to be a moment where you actually, by that time you would have already realized, okay, these are few things which I really like. right? I have explored 10 technologies so far, and I really like these 2 3 technologies. And once you have that, don't think much, just focus on them, right? uh, that is really important, because that helps you to build expertise, to have to know deeper, to go to to dive deep into those particular technologies, and that really helps you to navigate, because each of these technologies have so much, you know their own world. So if even if you sometimes people think I don't want to restrict myself to this, but it's not the case. So that's something which I really want to say. Being a student, don't think that if you are, if you have cross, if you are at that point where you're thinking to focus on some particular skill sets and trying to learn everything there is about them, do that. Don't worry that you are restricting yourself. You're not, right? Because that particular thing which you have found your passion in itself is so big in itself that you would not stay idle. Yeah, so that's something which I would like to suggest.
That was a really awesome advice. I mean, yes, this is really crucial for students because they just try to learn this and that and never just go deeper. And yes, thank you. Like, this was a really wonderful advice. And sir, I believe that after this session, those who will watch this video, all the students will get benefit and learn things from your knowledge and the experience which you have shared with us. And once again, thank you, sir, for joining us today. And this means a lot that you gave out time. Thank you.
Thank
So
you, Shibam. Thank
it's
you,
my
all the
pleasure.
best.
So,
Yeah.
viewers, I will be back again with another video having professionals from worldwide. Thank you.